I'm rather passionately convicted of the fact that trying to reduce discipleship and disciple making to program or formula or technique is about one of the worst things that we can possibly do. Disciple making, I've coined a phrase of calling it content-full relationship. In other words, it's if the outcome of disciple making is people growing to maturity, and that maturity is expressed in the way they relate to others, a relational outcome in that way can't be accomplished by less than relational input. In other words, disciple making cannot be just the delivery of information. It can't be just, let me give you my data download, here's the information I have that you don't have, I'm giving it to you, you've now got it, that's it, you're mature now. Now, it's important to say that disciple making is not less than giving biblical content and helping people understand that biblical content. In Ephesians 4, the equipping of the saints for the work of ministry, one of the outcomes of that equipping is that people are stable in the face of deceit and error. They know what's true and what's false and can tell the difference and stand on what's true and reject what's false. So, to be clear, when I talk about the relational component, that's not to say there's any de-emphasis on the doctrinal or the biblical content. But we need both if people are going to grow to maturity. So disciple making, therefore, looks like relationship. It looks like relationship that's shaped and formed by biblical categories, where somebody is approaching another person and asking, Lord, how may I serve your purposes in this person to help them grow to become more like Jesus? And if that's the basic principle, then it should be evident that that's going to look different in every different person, because it's going to be different according to our different personalities, according to the kind of relationship we have with different people, whether it's a very intense or just maybe a half-hour conversation and we never see them again. But the principle's the same in every situation. It's how may I help this person to grow? How may I serve God's purposes in this person? So there should be a glorious diversity to how that looks. And the danger then of trying to reduce that to a reproducible formula or technique or program is that it can flatten that out and stop us from actually relating to people well, listening to what's going on in their lives, and then serving what God's doing. At its worst, the programmatic approach can look like, here is what I'm going to teach you, whether you like it or not, and I'm not really interested in what's going on in your life. And I wish that were only a caricature, but sadly it happens very often. So disciple making is profoundly a relational process, but requires someone to be steeped, to be soaked in Scripture, so that they're ready in that relational context to bring Scripture to bear in order to serve God's purposes in a person's life. It's a bit more like a dance than it is like a program or a technique.